Hey guys, and welcome to episode 2 of Honeydew for Dummies Budget Bonneville Cafe Build. So today's project is to make and install custom blinkers. So the blinkers on the bike are these big goofy chrome things, and I just think they're really ugly and they're huge and they're not that very bright. So we're going to get rid of them. So here's what we've got. The blinker that I've chosen to use it's called the Eagle Eye LED. So it's 7/8 inches round, and then, I don't know, maybe probably the same high. But so it's a really simple positive and ground, and then it's just got a nut on the back. Figured I should show you the actual blinker that we're using. So here we go. I've got it lit up, and all I've done is taken 2 alligator clips, one to the positive end of the battery, one to the negative end of the battery, hooked it up to here. Really simple. So you can see it kind of blinds the camera. It's that bright in real life too. It is uncomfortable to look at this closely. Now what I did is I lit it up and then stepped back in my driveway and on the street. It's not so bright that I think it's going to blind other vehicles, which is an issue sometimes. But you can see, obviously straight on is bright, but as I move it to the side, it's still bright there, and I'm at a pretty hard angle on both sides. It'll do that. So I think that's going to give me good visibility to the front, and maybe not somebody that's directly at 90 degrees to me, but I think it'll give me a pretty good range of visibility. So that's the light. And it was $15 a piece. Super cheap. So to get started, we're going to put the bike up on its center stand, and we're going to take the seat off, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like now, and then what we're going to do to make it look cooler. So I've already put the blinker on one side, so you'll be able to see a comparison, see which one you like better. So the first thing we've got to do is pull the seat. Now, if you remember from the last episode how much of a hassle it was to get the seat out with those little bitty Allen keys, what I've done is just bought, I'll show you, a 3-inch bolt, a washer, and a nut. So I made sure that the thread is the same amount of thread that the original bolt had, so I didn't smash the seat. But so this works 4 finger screws to take my seat on and off. And instead of paying $30 for the really pretty billet aluminum ones, I spent a total of like 78 cents on both of these. I'm okay with it. Budget build. So we pull the seat up and we have the battery. Now this is common sense, but I'm going to say it anyway. Don't touch both sides at the same time. It hurts a lot. It's a terrible idea. So you, before you do anything electrical, I always undo the battery. It's a self-correcting error. So I undo the negative first, and then undo the positive. Now this wire and this wire are the battery tenders, so you may or may not have that on your bike. So take that off, remove that, get rid of the battery tender, and then what I do is put the screw back again so I don't kick it and lose it, and then just bend the wire so that I know the metal will not touch the battery terminal. Now do the same thing to the other side. Battery tender off. Screw replaced. Put that somewhere where it's not going to touch. Good to go. Here's the front of the bike. This is what we have, and this is what we're going to do. So I think it cleans it up really nice. You can barely see it. It's right here. And it's just not big, clunky, and goofy, and plastic, which is terrible. It's so ugly. So I'm going to show you how to pull the headlight. I'm going to show you how to get the wires out of it, pull this off without destroying it, and then we're going to reuse the wires, build a bracket that fits the new blinker, And then we're going to paint the bracket, seal it up, and we'll be all set. So this is the side of the headlight. There's a screw on this side, and there's one on the exact opposite side that matches it. So we're going to undo these, and as these come out, these are what actually hold the light in. So as we take this out, we want to be ready to grab the light so it doesn't fall off. So I've got the light off. I'm going to go ahead and take my screws, put them back where they came from. There we go. Drop them and lose them just like that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this very gently side to side, and then I'm going to pull these two. And as I pull these off, notice this is brown and that's black and yellow. Black and yellow, brown and white. I'm going to pull these off and make sure that I put them on the side that they go. What I'm going to do, there's a wire that comes out. You can see it right there. That wire comes from the blinker. So I'm going to run this and pull very gently and see what moves. All right, so I'm going to disconnect these and again note which one goes where. Now you see this plastic clip? Don't break it because we're going to reuse this. So 1 and 2. Very gently, I'm going to pull on the back so that this comes out. There we are. And we have a nut. So this one just happens to be a 14mm nut. I'll loosen it up. And then we'll take it off. Here's the space we have to work with. So I'm going to make a bracket that fits in here that will then bend on a 45-ish degree angle backwards. So to measure this, all I'm going to do is take an old piece of cardboard and set it right there. And what I did is I made a mark right there, so that's the length. And then I brought it down to see how high it was. You can see the other mark. And then I took my blinker and set it right next to it, and that's a little bit wider than what it is. So I know that I need a metal bracket that's this tall and this wide. Now it's better to go too big than too small because you can always cut down, but if you go too small, you got to redo the whole thing. Here's what we're going to use to make the bracket. It is just 1-inch steel bar. I got it at Home Depot for like $4. Good deal. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that cardboard cutout, measure on here, cut it off, bend it, drill some holes, and then grind it down so it fits in the top. There it is. This is my Spaceman Spiff costume, by the way. Now I'm going to bend the bracket. So I'm going to measure it roughly with the same cutout that I had in those lines. And then what I'm going to do is I've got my bench vise. Sorry for my squeaky chair, guys. I'm just going to clamp that down on the mark that I want. Tighten it up. Get my instrument of love, the hammer, safety probe. There we go. So this is the side that the blinker will go on. This is the side that will mount to the bike. So what I have to do now is find the center point on here to drill a hole to put the blinker in. So get my ruler out. It's about 1 inch and 1/8, so I'm going to give it that 1/8 of an inch up from the crease, so it's 1 inch. Let's see if you can see it. It's about 1 inch and 1/8, so I'm going to give it that 1/8 of an inch up and just assume it's 1 inch so that I don't count the crease and the curve too much. So I'm going to do a 1/2 inch up from the bottom, and it's a 1 inch bar, so I'm going to do a 1/2 inch in, and I'll use my T-square for that so I do get that centered. Cross of those two marks is the center. Next I'm going to get a pilot hole started, and then I'm going to do to slowly increase the size of the drill bit until it fits the back of my turn signal unit. Now I do a pilot hole because it makes drilling a heck of a lot easier. It doesn't wear on your bits as much. If you try and drill a large hole on a piece of steel or really anything, the first time it takes a lot longer, a lot more effort, and it's just harder. So I'm going to do a pilot hole with a little bitty bit to get it started, and I'm going to slowly increase the size. I'm the biggest proponent to using the proper tool for the proper job, but unfortunately I don't have a punch or like a starter for a drill bit, so I'm just going to use my screwdriver and a hammer. Now I've got the hole drilled, I've got my file, and I'm going to clean out any of the rough edges. So now that I've got the hole cleaned up, I'm going to string my light through it, make sure it fits through, and it does. And there's what it looks like right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the nut on the back like it's supposed to be. I'm going to trace around the light and then grind the bracket down in a circle around the light, so hopefully you don't see the bracket at all. So I'm going to grind that down. So with a grinder, remember it's always easier to take more off than it is to put it back on. So go easy with it. So now let's thread this back through. And there's what we have. So I'm going to take in the bottom edge just a little bit so it's not quite as square. Taper that just a little bit right there and on this side. And then we'll get to fitting it on the bike. There's the tapered version.